Hello everyone, welcome back to ICS Mahesh Pure College, Dharwad. I am Murli Hegde, lecturer in English. Dear friends, we are dealing second year PUC English literature part. Fourth lesson, everything I need to know I learned in the forest. Dear friends, we have completed the first part in the previous video where we have discussed about the author Dr. Vandana Shiva, her childhood and her involvement in the contemporary Chipko movement. In today's video or this video, we are going to deal with her opinion about beyond monocultures and rights of nature on the global stage, what she writes in her essay, Everything I Need to Know I Learned in the Forest. First of all, let us have a look at her opinions beyond monocultures. She writes in her essay, From Chipko, I learned about biodiversity and biodiversity-based living economies. The protection of both has become my life's mission. As I described in my book Monocultures of Mind, the failure to understand biodiversity and its many functions is at the root of the impoverishment of nature and culture. Friends, the meaning of monoculture means cultivation of a single crop or plants in an agriculture land. She tells here, beyond monoculture. If you have cultivated the habit of sowing only one crop at a time, with the weather changes or any other natural disasters, if the crop get damaged, the farmer will fall in a very huge loss. But at the same time, if he turn towards monocultures, that can help him to survive. In this regard, she promotes this concept. At the time of her involvement in the contemporary Chipko movement, which make her to turn towards this kind of concepts also. It became the mission of her life, promoting biodiversity and biodiversity-based living economies. She mentions her book Monocultures of Mind here, where she completely writes the advantages of this kind of concept. And the failure to understand biodiversity and its many functions is at the root of the impoverishment of the nature and culture. Without thinking the future or the future of the next generation, we people are using impoverishment, so making something poor, empty by collecting without any sense from that. The lessons I learned about diversity in the Himalayan forest I transferred to the protection of biodiversity on our farms. As we had discussed in the previous video, she learned many things in the region of Himalaya because she spent her valuable childhood there. Her mother also was a farmer, was composing poems and songs about forest. She was well trained in agriculture. On the basis of that knowledge, she developed her knowledge towards biodiversity and protection of it. And she further says, I started saving seeds from farmers' fields and then realized that we needed a farm for demonstration and training. During the Padayatras or the work related to Chipko, she started collecting seeds from farmers. Then she come to know by collecting seeds she can't do anything. She need a farm for the demonstration. Thus, Navadanya farm was started in 1994 in the Doon Valley, located in the lower elevation Himalayan region of Uttarakhand province. So she has started a farm which is called as Navadanya in the year 1994. Today we conserve and grow 630 varieties of rice, 150 varieties of wheat and hundreds of other species. In that farm, they grow more than 630 varieties at the time of writing this essay. And 150 varieties of wheat, a huge varieties of wheat and rice species are grown in that farm. We practice and promote a biodiversity intensive form of farming that produces more food and nutrition per acre. The conservation of biodiversity is therefore also the answer to the food and nutrition crisis. She proved that with the natural system of farming, we can produce more food and nutritious food also, without using chemicals or chemical fertilizers. She proved that. Navadanya, the movement for biodiversity conservation and organic farming that I started in 1987 is spreading. Kindly find the difference between Navadanya farm and Navadanya movement, which is a movement of spreading, extending the knowledge about biodiversity. It is called as Navadanya movement, which is started in the year 1987, but the farm was started in the year 1994. So far, we have worked with farmers to set up more than 100 community seed banks across India. So they have established more than 100 seed banks everywhere in India almost. We have saved more than 3,000 rice varieties. They have saved by collecting the seeds and protecting them and growing them in the farm, around 3,000 rice varieties. We also help farmers make a transition from fossil fuel and chemical based monocultures to biodiverse ecological system nourished by the sun and the soil. They demonstrated, they trained, they convinced farmers to transform their method of agriculture from fossil fuel and chemical based one to biodiverse ecological system, which is a natural system which is based on the sun and nourished by the sun and the soil, which is good for health also. Biodiversity has been my teacher of abundance and freedom of cooperation and mutual giving. What a beautiful statement she makes here. Dear friends, if you observe keenly towards this environment, it's very rich. There is a freedom for all the species in this world to live and contribute to mutual giving. One species accepts something from this nature and gives something else. For example, trees receive carbon dioxide and give us the oxygen. This is called mutual giving. It is already established in the environment, but we human beings are interfering and completely destroying the chain of mutual giving indirectly we can see the same concept in Vandana Shiva's writings. Next, she writes about rights of nature on the global stage. We have to understand this word, rights of nature. We people are thinking about our fundamental rights rather than thinking about our fundamental duties. But she highlights that even the nature itself has its own rights. That is what some of the institutions or constitutions highlighted and brought in the light that rights of nature is also persist or present. She takes here she presents here two major things here. The UN Secretary General's report and Cormac Cullinan's views. When nature is a teacher, we co-create with her, we recognize her agency and her rights. Nature itself has the power, energy or potential to teach us how to live with the ecosystem and mutual giving. She mentioned earlier, she repeats the same thing. If she has that quality, she has the right also. That is why it is significant that Ecuador has recognized the rights of nature in its constitution. She is taking the name of that country which has made a separate part in the constitution, rights of nature. Very greatest move which is required in this modern day of globalization. In April 2011, the United Nations General Assembly, she is mentioning the report of the UN Secretary General, inspired by the Constitution of Ecuador and Universal Declaration of the Rights of Mother Earth initiated by Bolivia. And another country she is mentioning which has made the Universal Declaration. Organized a conference on harmony with nature as a part of Earth Day celebration. Much of the discussion centered on ways to transform system based on domination of people over nature, men over women and rich over poor into new system based on partnership. What a meaningful sentence it is, or statement, declaration. We people think that we know science, we have the inventions of science with us, we can transform anything on this planet Earth, so we are dominating the nature. If I want to live in a peaceful, beautiful nature, I would like to build a home there by cutting trees. Because I have that power, we think. At the same time, man over woman. Even from the history pages, we can find the footprint of dominating men over women. We consider women are incapable and men are capable. And at the same time, so many systems were there in the society which masked the domination of rich over the poor. The society made that money or the properties are the basic things of valuing a person. We don't have values for that person's personality. We value each and everyone with the base of the money what he or she has. In the similar way, she tells here, we have to understand or we have to transform from that mindset to a system which is based on partnership. We should think that even nature has the equal right and part. Men and women are equal, rich and poor are equal. All have to work together as a partners or with the partnership. The UN UN Secretary General's report headed as Harmony with Nature, issued in conjunction with the conference, elaborates on the importance of reconnecting with nature. So this report clarifies that we have to reconnect with the nature, because in ignorance we have moved away, many steps away from the nature, but if we continue, we can't live on this planet, so that we need to reconnect with nature. Ultimately, environmentally, destructive behavior is the result of a failure to recognize that human beings are an inseparable part of nature, and that we cannot damage it without severely damaging ourselves. So again, she is beating or that with the report of UN Secretary Generals on the ignorance of we human beings, that we think we are different and this nature or this ecosystem is different. But in fact, it is not like that. We are a part of it, inseparable part of it. If we damage the ecosystem or environment, which indirectly damages our lives also. This kind of mindset developed due to the thought of separatism. She mentions here separatism is indeed at the root of disharmony with nature and violence against nature and people. We thought that this nature is different, separate, and we are separate, which was the root or the base of this kind of disharmony. And we have started acting violently against this nature and other people also. Here she mentions Cormac Cullinan, a prominent South African environmentalist, points. Apartheid means separateness. The word joined the anti-apartheid movement to end the violent separation of people on the basis of color. Dear friends, apartheid was a system distinguishing people on the basis of their color in the African countries, which was present. But that system was removed by the anti-apartheid movement by joining hands in the worldwide level, and which was completely removed at present. In the similar way, apartheid in the South Africa was put behind us. Today we need to overcome the wider and deeper apartheid. He tells that kind of apartheid system is still alive in the world. Is it? Exactly. He is telling here the apartheid and eco-apartheid based on the illusion of separateness of human from nature in our minds and lives. He tells the similar kind of a system is still present and killing the happiness of we human beings, even sitting in our mind. This is nothing but not on the base of colors and all, but human beings and the nature. We think that human being is a separate one, whereas the nature is a separate one. So that if the concept comes in our mind that nature is different one from us, definitely we'll try to dominate on it, and we'll try to destroy it to safeguard our lives, or for the comfortable style of living we can demolish it. But in fact, that is not the truth. The truth is that we are inseparable part of nature, and if we damage the nature, indirectly we are going to damage our lifestyle and life itself. So dear friends, this is what Vandana Shiva says about the monoculture and rights of nature in her essay. Dear friends, today we have discussed Vandana Shiva's views on monoculture and what is the use of nature's right with the support of the Constitution Statement of Ecuador, Bolivia and the UN Secretary General's report and Cormac Cullinan's views. Hope you have enjoyed, and in the next video we will discuss the remaining part of the essay. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.